What's up, everybody? It's Alan. I'm here for Razzle, going to review San Andreas today, the movie by Brad Payton starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Let's get this thing started. So basically, this movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He sort of does like a rescue helicopter thing. That's kind of his job. Apparently, at one point, he lost his one daughter, and it's kind of breaking apart his marriage. And he's kind of like, that's where we get in. We start to see the character start there. And then the earthquake happens. And he's a rescue guy, so he's trying to save a bunch of people, but then he decides to save his wife and his daughter. And that's basically the premise of the movie. Not really interesting, nothing really exciting about the plot, but that's not really the point of the movie. Let's get on to some negatives. The first major flaw of this movie is that the plot is really, really uninteresting. I kind of touched on that a little bit, but let's just basically get it right out there. It's your generic disaster movie plot. You've got the guy who's trying to save his family, and they're trying to escape this thing, which is basically a race against time because earthquakes are just, they happen and then you're done with the earthquake. There's no fighting the earthquake. The Rock's not dropping the people's elbow to shift the tectonic plates back together. This movie is solely a wait for, like, let's survive this. But then he's trying to find his family around the line too, so there's that. Then you've got the acting. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson puts forth the general Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson performance. It's pretty good, but because of the fact that the story's kind of there, it's kind of boring. His daughter, not particularly acted well, just kind of there. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's daughter is basically there to be the attractive girl for you to look at, and it's kind of a shame that there's not really any substance to her character, but that's how they made the movie, so that's what I'm going to talk about. His wife, really kind of boring. The boyfriend for the wife is pretty much, I guess he's got a major character arc. He goes from just kind of like, oh, maybe he's okay, to just stone cold evil. Like, the mother's boyfriend becomes just the worst creature that's ever walked the face of the earth. And then, more flaws, just basically, nobody tied to the central theme of the plot can be hurt by major occurrences. People will fall 3 stories and, like, wake up and be like, I think my nose might be bleeding. That's it. Like, anybody tied to the major theme, now I get it, it's supposed to be outrageous, but then they also really try to stem it in realism, and it's like, go with ridiculous or real, but don't give me both. Paul Giamatti's acting is really cool, but, like, his character is kind of a throwaway because they kind of just, it feels like it's just filling time. Any time that The Rock or an earthquake is not on screen, you are waiting for The Rock or an earthquake to end up on screen. Anything else is just minutes of wasted time without shaking earth or giant biceps. This kicks off the positives of the movie, which is that somehow this movie is actually very fun. Like I said, any moment with The Rock or the earthquake on screen are actually exactly what you want to see. You get The Rock, who's very charismatic. I mean, we've known it since he started in the wrestling, WWE. We know that he's actually a fun guy, and we know that the earthquake can be fun to watch, because for some reason we are really excited about the idea of seeing California just, like, leveled. I don't know what that says about us as people, but it's actually really fun to watch. And it's, at moments, terrifying, because you sit there and you say, wow, this is based off of something that can really happen, and earthquakes that, you know, have happened before. So it's a fun movie. The action actually looks kind of cool. There's some moments where it's a little bit spotty. The beginning has like a CGI thing that's like, whoa, that looks kind of ridiculous. But you get to see really cool things, like The Rock. Like, he's super strong whenever he needs to be for the plot. And it's, you know what, like, as much as it's kind of crazy and ridiculous, it's fun because, you know, it's like the biggest guy on screen. So yeah, I mean, it's tons of action, which is great, and it's tons of fun. The destruction looks really cool and terrifying, so there are some pretty good positives to go with it. I know that it sounds like there's a lot of negatives on my list by comparison to positives, but because of how fun those positives are, the movie actually does prevail a little bit in the ways that you would want it to. Overall, when I look at San Andreas, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, which is actually rather good. I would recommend you go see this. with anybody, because I spent the entire time, like, I watched the movie, I laughed at some of the ridiculous scenes that, like, you don't know if you're supposed to laugh at, but, like, you're like, that's ridiculous. But it's fun. And I actually spent time talking to my friends after the movie about the movie, just over and over again, for like an hour and a half. You will have actual fun watching this movie, so I recommend it. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. This is Alan for Razzle. There's probably a link there or something that you can click on. And that's going to be it for everything. Be sure to check up with our channel, and make sure that you're checking out. We're going to post more trailer reviews and such. Have a great day, guys!